Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything coming at you with another channel update. This is Mr. Everything's Wargaming channel update. Now, I do computer games on here. I paint. I do wargaming. We talk D&D. We talk various rule systems. I do previews and reviews of rule sets. You know, if you're a subscriber, you already know. And this is a like a newsletter, an update, letting you know what's going on over the next month or so, maybe August, September timeframe. And it also lets you know what we just got finished completing in July. All right, so in July, what have we done? Well, I'm going to look at my miniatures to see if there's anything special that I've done with my miniatures. Scratch built a miniature, the Froghemoth. That's up on YouTube. You should check that out. We painted a lot of blood red skies, planes, put the decals on, showed how to do all that. Also did a few tutorials on how to play blood red skies. More of those are on the way. What I've done is I've ordered some 1/200 scale bombers, and we ordered some magnets. We started putting magnets on the planes to kind of show you how you can do that as well. Basically, July was a lot of blood red skies. We did a lot of planes. I built my own playmat. We got a square playmat for right there. We got a square playmat for D&D that we play every week. I built some, you might see them right there, or maybe it's right there. I built some ruin walls, so I can put those on the table in various patterns and forms, so that when the players are adventuring through the ruined city, there will be ruin walls, letting them know where the buildings are and things like that. So we've done that. I did the Froghemoth, which I don't know. Oh, you might be able to see it. It's the green, bright green model right there. That's the Froghemoth. We've also joined the Kickstarter for the fantasy trip. I did a little thing on the Kickstarter for the fantasy trip. What else did we do? We built the airborne Jeep, and primed it, but I haven't painted it yet. That's going to be this month. And I don't know. That's basically it. If you remember something that I did this month, you let me know. Now, in the following month, August or so, I'm going to finish painting the Jeep. That's my plan. I'm going to work a little bit on my bolt action figures. I've got some more bolt action Germans and Americans and vehicles that I haven't really touched. Haven't really had a inkling to play bolt action in the last couple of months, mainly because the first half of the year I was so focused on getting everything ready for the Napoleonics game that we played down at NashCon. And now that that's over with, I've pretty much got burnt out on painting Napoleonic figures, even though I still have quite a few Napoleonic figures that I could jump into. I was thinking I'd get into some ancients, but I'm backing off of all of that. And what I'm going to be doing is working on modern. Yep. What? Mr. Everything working on modern? Right. So I've put together, okay, let's see if I can get my finger in the right spot. See those white figures right there? Those are sci-fi figures. And right next to it, there are some black primed figures. There's 4 guys. They're all in M16s or M4s. They're M4 carbines and K-pots and things like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use them, the sci-fi ones and the modern ones, along with, you can't see this on the thing, but right about there, I bought some Reaper miniatures, some little gray aliens, right? I got like 8 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint up some gray aliens, and we're going to paint up those modern guys, probably with multicam, but I'm not sure. And then we're going to probably do some of the sci-fi guys, more of a stylized, colorful, each color represents a different guy kind of thing. Because I'm working on, ever so slowly, but a little bit at a time, I'm working on an XCOM style, Xenonauts style, Phoenix Point style miniatures game that we can play on the tabletop. So I hesitate to call it a role-playing game because there will be some role play. It'll be as much role playing as HeroQuest has. You know, like you'll role play your character in a fight, but not really role playing because people are going to be dying left and right. So it's not really a role playing game. It's kind of a tabletop game, kind of like Bolt Action, but with progressing, persistent characters that get better, kind of like HeroQuest. But I'm going to do it in the style of the Firaxis XCOM. I'm going to take a lot of the XCOM mechanics and I'm going to convert it into D&D 5th edition terminology, and we'll play some D&D 5th edition with guns, basically, and aliens on the tabletop. That's my plan, because I personally believe that the Firaxis XCOM and XCOM 2 and all that fits perfectly with D&D 5th edition. I mean, verbatim almost. So I'm gonna work on that. But the time frame and the story that I'm gonna tell is gonna be kind of an Xenonauts kind of story. That way, it's not. It's gonna be my own story, but it's gonna be kind of a mixture of UFO, Aftermath, Xenonauts, XCOM, and Phoenix Point, right? I'm going to kind of combine the world and kind of rework it a little bit. Okay, but having said that, what I've done also is recently I've got an order pending that's coming in. It's going to have a Chinook, right? It's going to have a 28 millimeter Chinook or shithook or whatever you want to call it, right? And that's going to be, as in Xenonauts, that is the transport vehicle of choice at the beginning of the game. Later on, it progresses to a dropship. And I think I'm going to get the Halo dropship, because I think the Halo dropship will work. I think it's very, very similar to the Xenonauts dropship and also the XCOM dropship, the Sky Ranger or whatever they call it. So that's a plan. So having said that, I'm stacking right now. I've got some infantry troops. Gonna have to paint them. Got some aliens. Gonna have to paint them. I'm gonna get a whole bunch of like D&D monsters and monsters from Warhammer or monsters from what's that game? Gates of Antares. I'm gonna get a bunch of these different monsters from different aliens from different game systems. I don't care. I'm gonna mix it. I'm gonna get whatever ones fit in my concept of the world, and I'm going to give them all stats in my world, right? And then we're going to have possibly, like, when the Tomb of Annihilation is done, because we're running the Tomb of Annihilation right now. I thought about, because they're getting ready to finish the Tomb of Annihilation in a couple of months, right? So 3, 4, 5 months. And I was thinking that'd be perfect timing to throw in the Xenonauts game of my tabletop game, or maybe, because I plan on getting the Waterdeep campaign as well, and we can progress on to the Waterdeep campaign, but I don't know. Okay, it just depends on what my players want, but I want to write this set of rules for me. It's going to be a project for me. I might even run like a battle at NashCon or something. That might be something we could do. It'd be like a Xenonauts XCOM style game at NashCon next year in June. Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But because I'm thinking about it pretty heavily, I'm going to need to build terrain for the Xenonauts game. I'm calling it Xenonauts when really it's XCOM-ish. So I have some buildings, but they're not as modern as I wished, right? They're kind of medieval. They're off the camera. You can't see them. They're like way over there. They're off the camera. But they're medievals. And I've got some bolt action buildings, but those are also, they look very medieval, very row housey, right? And I've got I don't really have any modern style buildings like a shopping market or a bar and grill or a McDonald's or something like that in 28 millimeter. I got a bunch of that stuff in 10 millimeter because I built it for my Robotech game. I've got a ton of it in 10 millimeter with Robotech, but and I've even got city tiles in 10 millimeter that I could just throw out there, but I don't want to do that. I want squares, right? I need the big squares, so I'm gonna have to order maybe a laminate of a big laminate 4x6 or something with a city block on it with squares, mainly, or not. I don't know. Okay, but I do have the D&D one, which is kind of the jungle grassy look with squares. And I could easily do, and this is what my first game's going to be, is a woodland style XCOM scenario. It's going to be more of a Xenonauts. It's going to be my own creation, but it's going to be in woods or a jungle or like not an urban, a woodland scenario. It's actually going to be jungle, but it's going to be woodland scenario. I was thinking South America or something like that. But I've got a whole story already. I've already worked out the entire story in my head, how that first scenario is going to be, how I'm going to introduce the players to their new characters and why they are fighting aliens, right? It'll be, because it's going to be like a first contact kind of scenario. But that I can use the map there and just throw trees and rubble and rocks and hedges and whatever I need, I can throw on the table. And so that won't be a problem there. But I don't have any, but that after that, like day 2 or whatever, they might or might not need some urban style buildings. So I won't need to rush and go, let me go get 100 urban buildings. No, I can do one building at a time and just gradually build it up over time. Just building one building at a time. So I've been thinking about getting a 3D printer. That's something that I've been thinking about doing. It's a pretty sizable investment, but I don't want to do that because I need to upgrade this damn computer. This computer, it works fine. It's chugging along, no problem. But the processor is getting a little long in the tooth. It's a 3rd generation i7. It's a 3770. I need an 8 or a 9th generation i7. I think I want. The rest of it, not so much. But if I upgrade the processor, that tells me I've got to upgrade my motherboard because I still have DDR3, and that means when I upgrade the processor, I'm going to upgrade the motherboard, and that means I got to upgrade my memory. So that's what's holding me back because it's a big chunk. And if you guys could help me out with that, that'd be great. I'd appreciate it. The streams would be a lot better, more frequent, and the content, do my best to make the content even better. But okay, so terrain initially I think I've got. I just gradually build one building at a time. Now I did order, at the same time I ordered the heliocopter, I ordered a building. Something I've noticed was the Infinity buildings, they're kind of a slightly futuristic, right? They kind of remind me of XCOM 2, the 40 years in the future buildings. And I think I'm going to get a few of those Infinity buildings because I'm going to be able to use them in the campaign. I could progress the campaign 40 years. That won't be a problem if I wanted to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to build. I know I'm rambling, but I am going to build, probably on camera for you guys, a fast food restaurant. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to build maybe a Mickey D's or something like that, where Burger King, it's going to have the kitchen, it's going to have the front counter, it's going to have tables, and it's going to have windows and a drive-through and all that. I'm going to build all that, probably about so big. It's going to be giant, but I've got to make it so that the roof comes off. I want to make it a flat-roofed building. Why? So that we can play on it. Hiccups. So that's a project that I think I'm going to do this month, but I don't have any place to put it. So that's the problem. I got an empty shelf there that's really only holding a bunch of my knickknacks. I was going to put my bolt action stuff on that, but I have all my bolt action stuff in these. I could take my Romans and my Carthaginian, well, they're Germanics. I could put all of them back in there, but because they're painted miniatures, I wanted to put them out on display. So if there's anything, like this whole shelf could probably get tucked away somewhere. And this shelf, that's just knickknacks and junk that I could clear off. I could probably put my building on there. But the problem with that is my vision is this building's going to be bigger. It's not going to be 12 inches wide. It's probably going to be 18 inches wide, square, right? It won't fit on that shelf anyway, even if I tried. So I might have to put it up on one of these shelves. You've seen them. They're my other shelves. And there's a lot of stuff on there that could be cleared out. I've already emptied one big shelf because I used to sell a lot of stuff on eBay. I still am, but not as much as I used to. And I had sold a ton of stuff on eBay, and that actually cleared off a couple of sections of that shelf over there. So that's probably where I'm going to put it. Yeah, so I'm telling you what's going on. XCOM is my number one focus right now. XCOM, the miniatures game, is going to be my number one focus. But I will have some other things going on. Like I still plan on doing the elephant, and I keep forgetting to do it. But that's the Alexander's elephant. I've got the whole Alexander army. I bought the freaking whole thing over there from Warlord, and I haven't touched it in a year, And I only played one game of Hail Caesar, so I need to get my ass in gear and play some Hail Caesar. But I want to put that elephant together mainly just for you guys, and I also want to do the Jeep, and I want to finish putting the anti-tank gun together, and basically finishing what I own in my bolt action. And then let me move the chair this way. You can't see it because of the books right there. But I've got like 12 box sets of Warlord games and Perry miniatures still in the box. Haven't been touched. Like Hoplites and I don't know, American War of Independence still. I still have some American War of Independence I haven't put together. I'd like to really flesh out my American War of Independence guys too. So there's a lot that I want to do, and I might squeeze in that a little bit here and there. But my main focus over the next few months is going to be an XCOM miniatures game. So I'm going to get the helicopter in. I've got that coming in. It's from New Ray. It's a 1/50th scale, which 28 millimeter is 1/56. So I'm going to do an unboxing of that. I got a building coming in. I don't know if it's Sarissa. I don't think it's Sarissa. I think it's the other one, the other big one. Not the vacuum formed one. Plastic Craft. I think that might be it. Plasticraft. I got a building from Plasticraft. It looks fairly modern, not futuristic, not super old medieval. It looks kind of today-ish. If it's anywhere from the 70s to the 20s, that'd be fine. And I'm still working on D&D models, right? Like today, I just finished a couple of Malisons. Now, I did not record this, but I have painted a Malison right there, and of course, they're both Malisons. One is the snake body. I don't remember if that's a type 1 or whatever it is. And then this one's a snake head. So, right, there's some Malisons. I've been thinking about getting that. I don't know if it's Frostgrave or if it's that another brand, but there's a bunch of snake men in the jungle, but they're all snake heads, and so that would work great for this guy, but I need like half of them to be like this guy. So I don't know if I'm going to order any more or not worry about it, but because it's D&D. Because my party's in an area where the Yuan-Ti are going to be very predominant. So I needed to get a couple of them just to have them. What else am I going to be working on? Oh, Robotech. Okay. I have a ton of Robotech stuff. Robotech fell under, so I think I'm just going to sell it all. I've been holding off, like I don't really want to do that because Robotech's a great game. It's a good role-playing game. I've already sold all the role-playing game, but the miniatures game is pretty fun, and I put all that effort into painting these models. You know, like this guy right here. I've got a whole set, 2 or 3 sets actually, of Robotech, but they didn't. The Kickstarter fell through. The second half of my shipment never came. I'm gonna sell it. I think I'm gonna sell it. It's all fully painted. I'm gonna put it on eBay. I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, but I think that's coming. Something else. Thinking of that made me think of in the Fantasy Trip, in the Labyrinth, or the Fantasy Trip. I backed it. I got the backing, and I'm gonna do a video real soon on what that entails. I already did ones, asking you to help me out by backing it as well. We can get this up really high and get Steve Jackson his money so he can really crank out the Fantasy Trip. That was a really fun role-playing game back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, there's a certain style of role-playing game that's a little different than today. I don't know if the kids of today would like it, but yeah, I think it's more nostalgia, like us old men will play it. I don't know, but I backed it, so we'll get it, and I've already got my money's worth. It hasn't even been delivered to me yet, but I can see that I'm already going to have my money's worth because they're making a hardback. I get a copy of it. It's part of the stretch goals. They have a bunch of maps. I'm going to get those. That's worth it. And then I'm getting a bunch of modules. That's worth it. So yeah, it's going to be definitely fun to play. I can always convert if I wanted to, but I'm going to introduce my players to that. Just a couple of nights, we're going to play it and see if they like it, that kind of stuff. One more thing. Okay, back. I'm going to do a video real soon on Phoenix Point. As you know, I'm a backer of the Phoenix Point. They pushed the next backers build to November, but they also released a what do you call those things? Roadmap. And so when they release the roadmap, I'm gonna have to do a video on that. I'm just gonna have to show you about that. So, but I don't really have a whole lot of things. I'm still playing Star Citizen. I'm still playing a lot of War Thunder. Still playing Xenonauts. I kind of eased off on XCOM. Have eased off on playing Bless. Bless is kind of getting to the point where it's getting boring. I'm really excited about it for 30 levels, but I found myself last night looking for another MMO. I was online, I was looking, I was like, hey, is there any cool MMOs out there? And that kind of tells me that I'm done with Bless. I'm also looking forward to Ship of Heroes because I'm a big City of Heroes fan, and it's going to be the new City of Heroes, basically. So I'm looking forward to Ship of Heroes and Ship of Heroes, Phoenix Point. Probably going to drop Bless. I'm still playing a lot of War Thunder and Star Citizen and Xenonauts. yeah, hopefully that helped you out on the channel, letting you know what to expect in the near future, and catch you next time.